All right, guys, this is Tad, your homestead provider, coming at you from the bee yard. One of them anyway. We're fixing to get into these hives and look and see if we can take some honey off. So join us as we do that, and I'll show you the process of how to do that. Y'all got anything you want to say? No? Okay. Now, one of the hardest parts about beekeeping is keeping your smoker lit. I use burlap. Some folks use pine needles, you know, leaves, just whatever you can find. I figured out that burlap works better for me. This actually was a burlap sack that I cut up, so have to light it. This is a little torch. I'm gonna light it. Let it set for just a minute before we put the lid back on it. Just like that. What do you think, boys? Yeah. Yep. It's gonna work, ain't it? All right. There's smoking this one here. That should be good. It should be good here. Pull that lid off. Be easy. All right, smoke them in here, Harry. Harrison. Up top. Just like that. There you go. Now don't let my smoker go out there. Get in here and look at these. Now this is a honey super.
It looks like.
But as you can see, there's not a lot of bees in it. This is a new hive, so they hadn't come up into the top one yet and started making any. Let's look in the second one here. This one here, on the other hand, looks like it's got quite a bit. Let's see this here. Alright. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to scrape some of this bird cone off right here while I'm at it. Look and see what we got.
Oh, that looks like honey. And here's honey.
That right there is a pretty good honey frame there. Now all of it is not capped, obviously. You can tell right here there's a difference. They're not hardly completely done with that, but as long as the majority of it is, that will not be a problem to take off. Let's look at the rest of them.
Got a little bit.
This in here's not hardly ready. Pretty close. Now I'm liking what I'm seeing, so I'm gonna take this honey super off here. Not all of them is ready, but most of them are, so it's fine.
That looks pretty good. It does.
Looks pretty good. So I'm gonna get my thing right here. Be right back. This is how I get the bees out of the honey super. I've been doing this for 10 years. The best thing I've found by far is just blowing them out with a blower. Now it does not hurt anything, does not hurt the bees at all. That basically disorients them, and then they'll find their same hive and come right back to it. So I'm gonna be doing that now. Majority of them out. We'll go with that for now. All right, these two said they wanted to say something before we get started on this one. So what y'all got to say, Hudson?
I've been doing this a long time for my dad, and my name's Hudson.
Now you like it?
I like it. It's pretty fun.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Messing with the bees. Yeah. What about you, Harrison?
I've been doing this for a long time with my dad, and I just really like it.
How old was you when you started? You was probably about 3 or 4 when you started getting into this hive with me, didn't you?
So.
Probably so.
I kind of get interested to it, and I kind of really like it.
Yeah. What time? How old are you now?
I'm 8 now.
Okay. How old are you, Hudson?
10.
10. All right. Good deal. Alrighty, we're fixing to go through these hives. This is another bee yard of ours. There's several here, but the same thing as the other ones. These, the majority of them are brand new hives. So if I get any honey off of them at all, I'm extremely satisfied. This year is probably going to be more of a building year. As long as they survive through the winter, we should have a lot of honey next year. But let's go through the hive. This in here don't have a lot of activity. This was kind of a weak hive to begin with, so there might not be nothing in it at all. I haven't checked them in a few months, so because I don't like to get in the hives any more than I have to. Just let them do their thing.
Like the honey.
See this one here? There's very few bees in here, but I highly doubt this one will make it through the winter. Looking at it, so if I get another queen or another swarm, we'll probably add to this one here for. That one there is very weak. There's no way that will
survive.
No way it'll make it through the winter. From what I'm seeing right here.
Maybe it'll build up.
Maybe it'll build up, but it's not looking too promising. That's always been a weak hive. All right, let's go over here and look at this one. This one right here, it's got a honey super on it, but you know, very possibly doesn't have any honey in it. So we'll look at it. Forgot my hive tool at the other bee yard, so Harrison's bringing me another one. And that's him on the 4-wheeler. Let's look in here and see what we got. This one here, look down in here. This one here is like many of the other ones. Bees are doing good, but there's no honey up here, which I expected to find on several of them. So move on to the next. Yes, sir. No, that's not it, but it'll work. Put your gloves on. I make you a tie tool that Harrison come up with. I'm not even sure where this come from. Let's look in here and see what we got. Now this one don't have a honey super on it at all, but we're gonna see what we got.
Really sticky.
Yeah, they that's called propolis. They basically adhere the top to the bottom and all the frames. That's what holds everything together and keeps it tight, airtight basically. This hive here is doing really good for being so new, but it's not even anywhere close for a honey super. So that one will probably not have any at all this year. Hopefully they'll make enough to so I don't have to feed them through the winter and stay alive basically. Let's look at this one right here. Now this one's got a honey super on it. We'll see. This was a pretty good hive. No, this was a pretty good hive earlier in the year. This was one of my first swarms I got. Looks like there's several bees.
Looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
Far.
I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Let's look in here. My makeshift hive tool is not the best, but it'll work, I guess. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's look in here. This one looks pretty good. Hey, Harrison, there's a frame grasper in the back of the truck. Will you get it for me? Yep. See what we got going on. Definitely a lot of new comb. This actually might be a good hive harvest this fall. It's not hardly ready for spring harvest, or well, it's summer now. I'm really late actually, so. This looks really good. It's not ready yet, so we'll just move on from it. That frame's coming apart on me. You can see down here, you can see all this lighter comb. That's all new comb that they're building. They're working hard, but it's not hardly ready. This will be a fall harvest right here if as long as nothing happens. But it's doing really good.
As long as it don't get too cold.
I could actually probably add a honey super on this after a while, maybe, and see, give them extra room. That way they won't swarm. Anytime a beehive gets too crowded, they tend to swarm. So we want to avoid that if at all possible. All right, let's go. This one right here looks good. It obviously has a honey super on it, like I said before. And we'll go see what we got. Harrison, I really could use that other hive tool. It's hanging on the nail there in the shed, right above the garbage can that's got the chicken feed in it. So if you could go get that for me. It's red and white. You know what it looks like. I'm not sure this is going to work. I mean, it's working, but it's not going to be exactly what I need. This hive right here, same as a lot of the rest of them. They're putting honey into it, but it's not close to being ready. All right, this hive right here is the lone survivor from last year. So I'll back up a little bit so I can see. As you can see, it's got 3 honey supers on it, so hopefully we'll get some off of it. We'll see. I know they about had 1 filled up, which is the reason that I added more, obviously, from last time. So we'll go through it and see what we got. Top one does not look like it's going to have any in it, which is fine. It's okay, typical. Stop coming apart. Let's get a new one in.
Oh yeah.
Now this one has quite a bit. Let's look, pulling these frames out here. Actually, what I did on this one, this was one that was full, and I brought it up top, trying to get the more fresh down there, down to the bottom. As you can see right here, this is the full frame of honey. Looks really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one off and put it in the truck.
Did all 4 of them have honey?
I don't know. We'll have to get in and see. I don't remember what I did, to be honest with you. Like I said, it's been several months since I got into this. So this one here is definitely ready. All right, guys, we're back in the house here. We're fixing to extract this honey. For somebody that's never did this before or don't know the process, this is the extractor. This is how we get the honey out of the comb. Show them down in here, Brittany. See that right there? You put the frames against the side of it, and it spins and basically throws the honey against the side, and it comes down to this spout right here. And then we allow it to filter through this mesh filter right here and into a bucket with another spout. And that's how we get it into the jars. If you was going to do this, you'd also need a knife. This is an uncapping knife, and this is an uncapping tool. Whatever you can't get with the uncapping knife, this tool helps you open it up a little bit to get the honey out. I use this uncapping container. I actually made this. You can buy them for like $200, or you can go to Dollar General and get you a couple of plastic totes and make your own. Basically, all I did was drill holes in it. That way, any extra honey will filter down through that and into the bottom. And all your wax, uncapping wax will be up top. This right here is a little jig I did to allow me to put the frame on this right here as I'm uncapping it with the knife. I'll show you here in just a minute how we go about doing that. Anyway, this is the equipment that you need to process honey. Alright, let's start extracting this honey here. We'll get this off. It's pretty good. Now I've let my knife warm up, so it's just going to uncap it. This one here wasn't completely capped off, which is fine. Do that. And then do the other side. Now I'm really late on taking honey off this year, but life happens, and it's just how it worked out. Take that off there. We're going to set it into this extractor for it to get ready to spin out. And we're going to do it 4 more times before I can spin it. See, this box is going a lot better. That first box didn't have the honey, was not where I'd like for it to be, but it still had some, so we took it off. This one's working quite a bit better. You can see all them cappings that we're getting. This is just on, let's see, 9, 10, 11. That's just 11 frames, all the cappings. That's just pure honey wax and honey. And we'll set it outside and let the bees get the remaining honey off of it, and then we'll save the wax. Because a lot of times, Brittany, my wife, we use it in making chapstick, and I feel like we've made it in soap. And of course, you can do candles and everything else with it, but there is a market for 100% bee wax. Now, I probably should say that I will not have near enough to go around for everybody. And I've been doing this for 10 years and I never have. The demand simply does not meet the supply when it comes to honey. To be honest with you, this year we had, down through the winter, we lost down to just 1 hive. So to be getting any at all is is very good. So we're up to 16 hives right now, but lost all of them but one through that cold snap this past one. Basically, spin it and it throws it out on the side right there. You can see it up against the edge coming off. Check on it. Let's look here. So that has got most of the honey out. I'm gonna spin it one more time, a little bit harder, to see if we can throw it all out. Out the rest of that cone, rest of that honey that was in that cone on that side. Now this is not a radial extractor, so I have to actually turn it around and do the other side. Do that. It's really easy to just take it out most of the time. This last one, we'll do the other side. That should be good enough, and we will start adding more. We'll do the process over again. See, I got most all the honey out. But, and there's two different size filters in this. There's a very fine one on the bottom and one that's a little, not hardly as fine on top. That filters the honey, and that's really it. We do not pasteurize at all any of our honey. This is considered 100% raw. Mainly clover, but nobody, well, I say nobody should ever say that their honey is 100% clover, because there's no realistic way to track bees. So this right here should be fairly amber. I have all my bees on fields of clover, so clover honey generally is real light, which is it's always real good and very appealing. Alright, so I brought the uncappings out here in the heat. That's pure wax and honey. Honey's dripping off of it into the bottom container. Whenever you bring it out here in the heat, it allows it to warm up basically, and it allows the honey to drop down into the bottom container a whole lot easier. But something to do with humidity and all that, just allows it to get a little thinner. That way it flows down in there. And then I'll take that honey and pour it into our filter, and it'll be filtered as well. All right, and here's the final product. And that is some nice looking honey right there. Now, one thing I do whenever I get done harvesting all the honey is bring all the equipment out here for the honeybees to clean up. They'll have this cleaned up in a day or two. All I have to do is wipe it down, wash it off a little bit, put it in storage until next year. So we ended up with 24 quarts, a pint, and a half pint. But like I said earlier, I was extremely happy to get anything this year because, you know, with just one hive getting through the winter, the majority of these were new hives. You don't usually get much out of new hives. This right here, it's a little bit darker than usual. It's probably because our clover patch, or clover field here in the pasture didn't do as good as usual. Probably because it's been so dry. Clover honey usually is a lighter amber. This is a little more dark, so this is probably more trees, wildflowers and such. So that's it for today. We might try to get some more in the fall, but for now, this is all of the spring / summer harvest. If you like our content, you like what we're doing, subscribe to the channel, like our videos. You know, that kind of lets us know that you're enjoying what we're doing. And you never know what I'll be doing next, so you should get some notifications that every time I post something that we got a new video out. Anyway, so this is Tad, your homestead provider. God bless.